Hey everybody, you know, I just shot a 10-minute video on F.A.R.C, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and keep breathing, it's my accent. It stands for F.A.R.C, and it's the secret to how to change. And the F.A.R.C, F-A-R-C, being an Aussie, I can't say the R like Americans can. Like I think an American would say it's F.A.R.C. See, I can't say it. Anyway, F.A.R.C. So what is it? First of all, the F stands for focus. When you want to change something, we have to focus on what it is that we want to change. What pattern is it? What behavior do we have that we want to change? Because to focus on it means we pay attention to it, which is part of the A, and it allows us to catch us doing that behavior and to work out why we're doing it. For example, comparison is one of the most evil things on earth, I've decided. It's one of the ways that we continue to diminish ourselves and keep ourselves in a small box and make ourselves feel we don't matter, we're not worthy, we're not good enough. And I've battled this, like everyone else, for a long time. And, you know, I'm much better at it than I used to be. And that's all we can all ask for, to be making progress. And I don't claim that I've managed to master all of this and I'm on track for a fabulous everything, but I'm making progress and I'm happy with myself for that. And anyway, so just a couple of weeks ago, I met this astonishing woman. She was amazing. She's a double PhD. She got a double master's. She was in the military and she did amazing things in the military. And then she left the military and she did amazing things somewhere else. And now she's an amazing speaker. And I was looking at this woman and I could feel myself at some point shrinking, going, oh, wow. Oh, wow, she's done. Oh my gosh, she's so amazing. Oh, and as I was doing all of that, I'm kind of unconsciously saying to myself, boy, you suck. And you know, if I had to consciously catch myself doing that. And I sort of did it at the time, but I had to do more work on myself afterwards. So be very careful about comparison. And maybe comparison can be good in some ways because it highlights for us areas we might want to change. And that means we get to focus on what it is that we want to change. And once we focus on what it is that we want to change, we can start to focus on what it is in us that's causing us to do that behavior. Michael Grinder, one of my mentors, gave me permission to talk about this. So normally I would draw this on a flip chart, but I'll just draw it for you in kind of here, this way. So imagine 3 stick chairs in a row. And in the front stick chair is the behavior that you want to change. In the stick chair behind the behavior is the fear that's driving it. Because behind most behaviors that we want to change is a fear driving it. In the third stick chair over here that's behind the fear is the need. And if we feel the need, it takes away the fear, which changes the behavior. So I hope that makes sense. Because as we focus on what it is that we want to change, we move to the next step, which is awareness of what's causing it. And if we're aware of the fear that's driving the behavior, then we can feel the need ourselves to feel that we're good enough, to feel that we're worthy, to feel safe, to feel that we belong, that we're not separate. And as we start to work on how we feel about ourselves, that will change the behavior. As we start to diminish the fear that we're not good enough, we're not worth loving, we're unsafe, that we don't belong. As we diminish that, the behavior changes. So, but without the awareness that that fear is driving the behavior, we can't really get the need and give ourselves what we need, which is to change the story. Now, see, as toddlers, we told ourselves the stories about those fears. No one else did. It might be that you had a parent that kept telling you you were useless or something, but they could tell you till the cows come home. It isn't until we take on the story and believe it that it becomes our path for the rest of our lives. So it really is on us that we told ourselves the stories. Now, did we know we're doing it? No. Do we know we're doing it now? No. Because in epigenetics, we know that 95 to 99% of the time, we're literally unconscious of our thoughts. We're literally unconscious of the stories we're telling ourselves. So without the awareness and catching ourselves. So next time you start to feel in any way inadequate or in some way you're not going to achieve the change, stop and check. Okay, what story am I telling myself right now? Where's the awareness? Become aware, observe the story you're telling yourself, and then challenge it. Because the truth is, you are worth loving. You are good enough. And it doesn't mean we can't grow, develop, and progress through life like I'm doing. But you are worth loving and you are good enough. And 99.9% of the time, we are safe. And you know, sometimes we're in difficult situations that are abusive. In that scenario, we're not safe and you do need to get out. But 99% of the time, we are safe. It's a psychological safety that we're fearing, or we fear we don't have. And, you know, the concept that we can change these stories is true. And you do belong. We are humans. We are a human race. No one is separate from anyone else. And that's a hard concept to get yourself around. But I've studied quantum physics since I was 17, a million years ago. And there is a field, and we are all connected in the field. You know, think the last time, gee, Mary or John hasn't called me. That's unusual. Mary or John call me at least once every couple of weeks. I wonder what's going on. What happens? As soon as you put that out into the field, who calls you within 24 hours? Or who connects with you? Mary or John? Because we are all connected all the time. And you belong. No matter what you've said to yourself, you do belong. And there is your tribe somewhere. And sometimes we just haven't found our tribe, but you still belong. And so once we have an awareness, we can choose, and it's about conscious choosing, to change that story and to stop it. So catch ourselves, be aware of the story, catch ourselves and go, stop, I'm not going to tell myself that story. It's not true. I'm going to tell myself a different story. And you know, you can't go from that story to, whoa, I'm fabulous. I'm the best person on the planet. I am so lovable. I am so good enough, because that would be artificial and really weird. And it's not true, really, to go from one to the other. You just can't believe it yourself. But you can find a lot of halfway points, even if it's to say, you know what, I'm not going to tell myself that story, and I'm really proud of myself for catching myself. And instead, I'm going to say to myself, you know what, I may not feel it, but I am worth loving. There is someone in my life who loved me. And if it isn't a parent, then it'll be a sibling, or it'll be a friend, or it'll be a teacher, or it'll be someone who believed in you. And just think about that. And say, I am going to tell myself the story, I am worth loving, or I am good enough, I can do this, that I am safe. If I look around, make sure that physically you are safe. You know, you're not about to jump off a cliff or anything, but if you look around and it's a psychological unsafety, you can say, you know what, I am safe. I've got choice here. I can choose to remove myself from this environment and feel safer. But as I sit here right now, no one is about to stab me. No one is about to shoot me. I'm actually physically safe. I'm just not feeling safe. So what do I need to do to feel safe? And if you can do that, you are taking responsibility for yourself. And it's a good halfway point, or a step in the way of progress, to get you to get to the real end, which is to believe that you are worth loving and you are good enough. So what's the R stand for in F.A.R.C? We've done F and A. The R is for repetition. Because if we ever want to change a behavior, then we have to repeat the behavior. Think of everything you've ever tried to do in terms of change. Let's say you want to learn a new skill, that's change. And humans, generally speaking, they hate change. There are very few humans go, yeah, bring on the change. I love change. I just got used to the way everything was. Woohoo, bring on something that'll challenge me. Hardly anybody wakes up thinking that. We're all kind of going, whoa, not another one. But change is really good for us. And Alan Deutschman wrote a book called Change or Die. And it's true, because in the brain, the neurons work with the process of use it or lose it. And if we don't keep using the various patterns that we have in our brain, we lose it. That's why the fears are so hard to remove in some cases, because we've had them there for so long. They are embedded, and it's just an automatic pathway. So we've got to break the pathway. That's what F.A.R.C does. And we've got to insert a new pathway. And it's like with those beliefs we've got about ourselves, it's the path. We've told ourselves the story so often that the pathway is very deep. It's like a deep groove in our brains. So it's kind of like a no-brainer. A new thought comes along and gets hijacked into this big, deep groove. So that every time we do something brand new, it's a tiny little scratch etched on our brain, a new neural pathway. And each time we repeat the new behavior, the new thought pattern, that groove gets a little bit deeper, or the scratch gets a little deeper. And the more we repeat it, the deeper it gets until it becomes a groove. So think about riding a bicycle. The first time you as a kid rode a bicycle, you were like, whoa, yeah, and falling off, and there's people holding you up, and it was horrible and scary. But then we tried again, and then we tried again, and then we tried again. And then we could ride a bicycle and not even think about it. Or driving a car. The first time you were learning to drive a car, it's like, there's so much to pay attention to, there's so much going on, and it's terrifying. But we practice, we repeat, until now you can drive the car, eating, listening to the radio, talking to someone else, and often you get to a place you don't even know how you got there. Because the driving became a deep groove in your brain. And now you don't even have to think about it. So that's what repetition does when you're trying to learn something new. And it's really important for us to learn new things because it develops different aspects of our brains. So as we age, it's even more important that we learn things that we've never done before, like learning a new skill, learning a new language, learning to dance, learning to cook if you've never cooked before. Anything that you've never done before, learn how to do it using the F.A.R.C process, and you'll find that your brain stays alert and alive, and you stay young. That's basically what it does. Now, what about the C? The C stands for celebration. Because the way the brain works, if you achieve something new, what locks it in, what cements it, second C word, in even more is celebration. And it doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy a bottle of champagne and drink it yourself. It's celebrating in small ways with yourself. Like the other day, I found out that a kitchen faucet I had was recalled because it had lead in it. And they say, never use it again. So I'm like, and so I bought a new one, and I was ringing plumbers, and it was going to cost a fortune. And this place where I bought the thing from said, it's really easy to install it. Well, I'm not a plumber. I didn't know how to do it. And I was really nervous because I thought, what if I flood the house? What if I do something? And I had to catch myself F.A.R.C. I had to focus on what it was that I wanted to do, which is to learn how to install a new sink faucet. And then I had to become aware that I was saying to myself, what if I screw it up? Stop it. I'm not going to screw it up. I'll take a photo of what it was like. I'll do things very systematically. I'll be careful. I'll check each part before I do the next one. And then I did it. And I was so proud of myself. And luckily I had a friend staying with me because I did need a little bit of help. She had to hold the faucet while I screwed the thing underneath, where I'm lying on my back up like this, and I couldn't do both. And so I was very blessed I had some help. But when I finished it, I was so proud. And I said, I'm so proud of myself. And I did a little happy dance. Well, it wouldn't have mattered if she wasn't there because I did it. And I did that little celebration for me because I don't often do that. And I'm guilty of it. And I'm admitting to you right now I'm guilty of it. And I'm making a commitment to myself, the other C word, to actually celebrate a bit more. Because the last 2 years, I have done a gazillion things that I never thought I would do. And very rarely have I celebrated. And when you celebrate, it kind of says to the brain, woohoo, good job, keep that one. And we stay on track, and it embeds the groove even more. So I hope that was useful. It's kind of a long video, but never mind. Now you know about F.A.R.C, and you know it stands for focus, awareness, repetition, and celebration. So go forth, become a F.A.R.C and F.A.R.C to keep your brain young and agile and alert. And have some fun. That's the other thing. So maybe it should be F.A.R.C or something like that, because have fun as you're doing it. So there you go. Bye.
Always look on the bright